Hey, good morning, Georgianna. I hope this finds you doing well. I pray everybody had a beautiful Easter in some fashion, whether you were worshiping with us or worshiping in your church in the community that you live in, or maybe you caught a sunrise service. Whatever it was, I hope you were truly blessed and that you felt the power of the risen Lord. That's what we hope for everyone. I should just share with you, here we are the Monday after Easter. We've given the staff off to this day because they have been literally cranking in 2021, and we're just going to get more cranked up as we get children back on campus, we get youth camp kind of going, and we're excited about all the things that God has in store for the next 3 or 4 months. And so we want to give the staff a day just to catch their breath after Easter. I also want to thank the church for their outreaches, for the way they blessed House of Hope with almost 500 pieces of pork loin or ham, and that was amazing. And the communion, the compassion offering was just exceptional. Exceeded our goals in unbelievable ways. So as we get into the word that God has for us today, that's coming from Isaiah chapter 54, I want to make a comment. When I got into ministry, my sole goal was to reach lost people with the gospel. It was to bind up the wounded. It was to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. I wanted to be about helping hurting people. Can I tell you honestly, that's about 15% of the job I do right now. A lot of what I do is leading. A lot of what I do is try to meet the needs of individuals and juggling lots and lots of balls, trying to be present in our community. But here's what I know in the last year, and I think this is true for all leaders, no matter what you're leading, I hear it from the principals in our schools, I hear it from other leaders in our community, business leaders, what have you. This past year, it feels like it's been open season to question every decision that you've made. Like, without a doubt, I've never felt like this in my life, where 100% of my job was making somebody mad all the time. It just felt like no matter what decision I made, somebody was unhappy. Somebody needed to express that unhappiness. And I get that. I think that it's odd that we would place personal agendas ahead of kingdom agendas. And so I've just tried to weather that. And this is where today's passage comes in and is a little bit helpful, I think, certainly for pastors. I hope for you, as you live in a world that is highly critical right now and judgmental. So here's what the word of God says from Isaiah 54:17. It said, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord." So part of what God is saying in this passage is, listen, you're going to have people criticize you. You're going to have people question you. You're going to have people doubt you, and they're going to say all kinds of things, right? One of the things that cracks me about all the time is the times that people put words in my mouth, say, I heard Corky say, or, I had somebody in my office not long ago that said, well, we heard you said blah, 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 blah. Well, it could be the furthest thing from the truth. One of the things I tell other people when they come to my office and they've been falsely accused by friends or family of something, I always ask them the same question. Is it true? Is it true? And if the answer is no, then don't worry about it. Quit worrying about it. So one of the funniest things that happened in the life of Dee Dee and I, and really our ministry here, we've been here about 3 or 4 years, and the rumor began to circulate that we were going to tear down the historic sanctuary and put parking spaces there. Well, then it couldn't be anything more ridiculous than that, because I don't think you can park 4 cars where the historic sanctuary sits. It's like ludicrous. And I just kept thinking the ridiculous nature of it would cause that rumor to evaporate. It just never evaporated. It just stuck around. And I was hearing it everywhere I went. I'd hear it from strangers, people who go to our church. Oh, you're the guy that's going to tear down the historic sanctuary. And I was like, where is this coming from? So Dee Dee and I, out of our own pocket, had the roof re-roofed on the historic sanctuary, thinking once and for all that our investment in our own church to see that the roof got replaced would just quell those thoughts and rumors and statements. Didn't happen. Just didn't happen. It just kind of lasted for a while, right? So I get it. I think there's always those times. Let me tell you what I do. I tell everybody who's going into ministry, if you're called, you better have a tender heart. You better be able to be compassionate towards other people, but you better have thick skin, because the job some days is like death by 1,000 paper cuts. So one of the things I tell my peers all the time is, listen, I plan to die on the battlefield. I don't plan to die in some bunker somewhere else hiding away from the enemy. I plan to die on the battlefield, but I'd just soon it not come from friendly fire. And I think you feel the same way. I think in the world you live in, you want your word, your bond, your truth to be just as secure as ever. And so that's my prayer as we read this passage. It says that God will protect you, and he will prevent harm to come from you. Every time I read this passage from Isaiah, I also think of the passage from Exodus 14, where God's standing on the brink of the Red Sea, and he's getting ready to part it, and the enemy is barreling down on them with the intention to do them harm. And Moses spreads his hand and he says literally, be still and watch the power of the Lord. So I've learned over time not to chase rumors. It's a lot like chasing a headless chicken. I just kind of let them burn themselves out because the truth eventually rises. And so this is what I want you to know. Be still and watch the power of the Lord go to work for you as you stand in righteousness. I hope this is a good word to launch your week. I hope you've had a great Easter. I love you, church. We'll see you later.